So, do you remember this morning that I went in and did stuff on Twitch? Because they changed something a long time ago where if you don't go into their platform to do something, it won't update it or whatever. So I went in there and I made an adjustment, and I didn't realize that on the bottom of the make sure it's actually listening to my voice and I'm not just talking and waving my hands like a crazy person. On the bottom of the Twitch Stream Manager, there is additional buttons that they put in at some point. I don't know when they put these buttons in there because I haven't actually got on Twitch, and I really don't get on the Twitch. What is that? I guess it's a browser. You go into it by an internet browser and look at it. So anyway, apparently there's something in there for restreams, but the way I found it was going to YouTube because YouTube kept showing all these lives. What's up? Hey, just woke up from a long nap. Oh, good. Um, and you had to go into like YouTube Studio or something. Like, so if you go to dashboard and then go to where it shows like your live videos, the content and stuff like that, it kept holding two of the videos live for some reason. That's what a friend of mine was talking to me about. And that's what the test was. That's what we were trying to figure out why the heck it's doing that. But until I got off the phone with her and figured it out, I couldn't figure it out. But it's weird. And then I get a call from I swear that voice is familiar, dude. It's weird. That voice that called me on the phone sounded exactly like the girl that did IT or does IT for Comcast. Like same voice, like little Filipino voice kind of thing. Or what I actually thought at first when I talked to her, because I had like issues with the internet and stuff, and I called in and was asking about it. I thought like I thought she was Asian. Like I was really thinking she was um what is it? How do you differentiate between the groups? Like Indian or Middle Eastern. Like I thought she was that. Just by the voice, because it was such a little voice. Um, but she's like, no, no, I'm from the Philippines and stuff. But where is the Philippines? Is that like close to Asia? Is like some of that in their bloodline? I don't actually know where like the Philippine bloodline. What is that? It's a culmination of a lot of different things, right? But I only had one. I think was she from the Philippines? I think I had a friend when I was in the service that was from the Philippines. Her voice was completely different though. Like, um, and she, or was she from Hawaii? I don't remember. It's been so long. But we'll see when I close this off if that's what fixed it. Anyway, got some stuff. Got my actuators and stuff in. These are smaller than what I thought. So this is a linear actuator, and I didn't want to buy one. I was going to make it, but I figured I'd buy one. And since it's so cheap, I can tear it apart. And if I break it, then I break it. But this is supposed to lift 200 pounds. They're supposed to have 200 pounds of force. 900 Newton meters. I don't believe that this little thing can move that kind of weight, right? So it's a little actuator. It's about 16, 17 inches long. And these go inside here is where I'm putting them. And they mount to the arm, and then this extends upwards, right? It actually has to mount this way because of where it goes. But I wonder how much side load they can handle, though, because this is going to side load like this bar slightly. Should bump it with the battery. I'm curious how. So it's supposed to move 10 millimeters every second, so it should take a total of. Now I don't know if that's an actual measurement in speed when it's not loaded, or what. We can hope. We can hope what, Jen? What do you mean? We can hope it fixes it. The issue. I hope so. I'm sure somebody's had to it. I don't know when they did that. That was like super recent, or so is it 10 millimeters per second loaded, or is it 10 millimeters per second unloaded? Because if it's only 10 millimeters per second when it's unloaded, that means it's going to take forever to lift it when it actually has a load on it. I do have a 12-volt battery conveniently just chilling. I didn't do that on purpose, but it would have been cool if I did. Now I need a piece of wire that I have everywhere to extend this so I can actually, I don't want to cut it off of that. That's kind of being, we'll take a piece of wire from there. Go over here and grab a snippers. I think that's a snippers. I need a rotary wall of tools. Like that would be kind of hard to memorize. Maybe not. I think after, but that would be sweet. If it was just a rotating wall of tools, and I could just, okay, I need this, and I would never have to move, right? I could just, I can build one of those later on, I think. We had those, they call them, what are they called? Roll something. I want to say Rolodex, but I don't think that's right. Do I have wire here that's good enough for that? 3 amps. That's probably not a whole lot. I don't like the wire selection I got here. Honestly, I think a network cable can probably handle that kind of amperage if it's tripled up. Surprisingly, because solar wire is expensive when you buy it, but if you have a short run, that's not working. That's not working at all. You can use this as your positive and negative. So I actually have this network wire ran for a few of my solar panels outside, and all I did was strip every single wire, combine them all together, and basically this all becomes one solid core wire that's probably like 14 gauge maybe in total. Something like that. I don't think I go small enough to strip that. Normally when I strip these, I just burn them off. Oh, that worked. If you do them as 2. So I just strip the bundles of 2. Actually, right now I have 4 panels, 4 solar panels, feeding on one of these wires. So I have 2 combined, right? And then 2 for the other signal. And I get like 600 watts off of that. It probably gets thermally overloaded. It's probably too much for it, but I just don't feel like messing with it right now. I cheat it. This stuff was free. throw this stuff away all the time when they upgrade because they've gone from like Cat 5 to Cat 6 to who knows freaking what they're at now. Right. Let's see what this does. I'm curious. Put the oranges and the green together. And the blue and the brown together. That's plenty enough. I don't like how that's twisted together though. Somebody ran off with a pliers that is like my favorite one. I don't know where that went to. Then I got this out here because my daughter was rolling beads in her floor pans yesterday with her boyfriend. I didn't strip those good enough. It'd have been better to use a freaking torch. I don't have enough exposed. I normally just go off here. You burn your fingers a little bit, but whatever. It's skin. It'll grow back. Just heat up till the plastic melts and just pull the whole sleeve off. Stab yourself in the finger slightly with the wire. It's okay. It only felt like something just clawed the crap out of you. Be alright. 'Tis a mere flesh wound. You can't get tetanus from copper poking you, right? So I'm good there. I don't think. As long as there's no iron in the copper wire. Ceramic brown, positive. Could put wire nuts on these. Part of me just doesn't want to right now. Just want to get it somewhat together. See what it actually does. I have to tape one side so I don't. Brown. Blue. I gotta split the jacket here. Need a razor blade. Just cut the casing on the outside so I can actually like open this up. Every time they make changes, dude, it just weirds me out. And you get people jumping into chat saying weird stuff, and I'm like, yo, like, it's kind of brings a certain level of anxiety back, I think. Subliminally, I think they're trying to tell me something without telling me something, because it's just seems to always go that way. I don't know why I wasted my time wrapping that around there, but I did. So, this way. I'd say it's unloaded, that it'll move that fast, right? It's really quiet, though. I kind of don't feel 100% on the... What's it do when it gets to the end? Does it just hard stop? I guess we'll find out. It does? There's like a built-in switch for it, I think. Oh, well, that's sweet. Awesome. So if you even have the timer longer, I don't have to worry about putting a freaking limit switch in it. So now if we go the other way, we're kind of grounded out to the table. That didn't work at all. We were just welding a table with a battery. I should have counted. Is that about 25 seconds? I feel like it's going to take twice as long to lift the weight. Took a little longer than I wanted it to, but because of the gearing on it to be able to lift that kind of weight, it is going to take. When you increase the time, or when you increase the weight that these can lift, you're going to increase the time that it takes to extend because the gear ratios change to be able to apply that kind of force, right? That's cool. I'm not really a big fan. I was hoping the holes were larger in it, at least the way it pictured it. But we're going to have to make cradles. That way it's pushing, and the pin just basically holds it in there, and it's actually pushing on the bar. Man, that did stab my finger good. How's work been going? Work's alright. I mean, it's work, right? You get paid to do things you don't want to do. But I don't know where I put my coffee. There it is. How's your job been going? I think I had a good talk with my manager, though. Um, my boss. Um, and yeah, it's just not where I want to be. Like, I do the job to the best of my ability, but it's not what I want. It's so boring. Shit puts me to sleep. And like everybody in the freaking building is constantly, they're like, because sometimes I'll show them like stuff I'm working on or whatever, or things I've done, and they're like, why the hell are you working here? And it really makes me start thinking, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess because I just wanted to be able to go to work, not really have to think about anything too much, right? And have fundage to pay for my home and the utilities that I have currently right now. And then I'm not super drained. And I can do this kind of stuff because this is more what I actually give a crap about. Like, I'll lose sleep to do stuff out here. I don't even care. I won't eat. I won't. Honestly, I would turn sex down to stay out here and work in the garage. Just because this ultimately is gonna do something for me. Like, messing around with that stuff is it's so temporary. Like, in my mind, and this probably applies to like all relationships. All relationships are they're temporary. People change. People grow closer together, grow further apart, and it just makes no sense for me right now, currently, to waste my effort in that realm because if I locked myself into a relationship, I think it's going to make me unhappy. I've kind of kicked that around a little bit, but I think it would make me unhappy. I think I've gotten so much further when I'm just me because there's nothing else. No one else is talking. No one else is changing my thought process slightly. It's just me in my head with my passions and my dreams and my goals untouched, completely untouched from the outside world. So I'm going exactly where my brain wants me to go, right? I'm gonna be on double shift. Oh yeah? Jeez. Is it busy season? What is busy? What industries are busy right now? if you don't mind. Like what, just roughly, what industry? I'm kind of curious because I want to find something that's more busy in the winter time, less busy in the summertime. Because I don't want to be out here working in the winter because it's so flippin' cold. So it'd make more sense to be able to work overtime in the wintertime. Maybe I just need to move to Alaska and build igloos. Wait, no, I don't think that's far enough up to build igloos. Do they have igloos there? Maybe. Sometimes. Seasonally. Seasonal Alaskan igloos. But things like that, when it does stuff like that, it does get under my skin because I feel like then it pings my community so many freaking times that I don't think there's like really a way to test it. Because I would have never figured that stuff out with this issue until I like live streamed again or whatever, or did that stuff. So now everybody's probably going to sleep. I feel like a lot of my loyal viewers are from overseas and they're not um, from the States. Alright, what else did we get? Ooh, I got a bunch of stuff for the probably left because I didn't answer right away. That screws me too because the chat's so small I don't see it pop up when I'm over here. This is a filter for the filter for this thing, this system here. These are pretty cheap. And that's awesome because it's just a round mesh cylinder. So if I wanted to, I have super fine mesh and I could roll a cylinder, weld it together, and actually make this an even finer filtration. But that's probably good enough, honestly, for what, not a big fan of that O-ring thing. That's kind of weird. Doesn't really sit in there, and it's not really an O-ring. I don't know why that was designed like that. Something. Why? Something wrong with the extrusion? No, it's just weird. That's a weird start. I don't know why that thread's on like that. Doesn't really tell you how tight you can tighten it. I don't like... Ooh. I could cast this. So I could take this plastic piece, right? And I can make a mold of it. And then when I have the chunk of, I can put it in here and I can just machine all this stuff and actually replicate this if I wanted to. But I don't know that they make little ones like this out of... Now why is there no seal on the bottom though? So this has a mesh screen in it. And there's no O-ring on the ends of the screen? Because you know the end of the screen is not actually the same size hole that's on the side of the screen. That ridge should have been wider too, because this thing barely sits on there. There's barely anything outside of the but whatever. Get what you pay for, right? There's a reason why this is pretty cheap. But it'll do. It'll serve its purpose, I guess. God, it's such a pain in the butt to get back on there, dude. Why did it fight me the whole time? Something is up with this thread. And is it on here? Or is it on here? I feel like I bet you it's this. I don't think that extends far enough. That thread doesn't extend far enough for it to actually engage the bottom housing. So you gotta almost freaking push down on it. It's weird. Well, I don't ever have to take it off. Anyway, that was way more drug out. Welcome to my world. So this is a little 12-volt pump I got too. Because the pump I had on here, this one's supposed to be quiet. We'll see how quiet it is later when I hook it up. I don't like these little stupid security dot things. Where's that razor blade? Comes with fittings. Little tiny pump. Actually, you can mount it. It has insulator things on it. I hate bubble wrap. Just put it in a plastic bag. What's that? I almost thought that was metal, but it's all plastic. So it's just a little tiny, like 2-gallon pump, right? Just a little thing. It is super tiny. And it's got the little brackets, little rubber feet to put screws through. And it almost has this little plug, like you can plug it into a circuit board. Should probably be pretty convenient if you had just a little controller board that was controlling this. Maybe for later on. But for right now, this is what's going to cycle the water through here and then back into the tank. And this is the same pump. They actually use these for like solar hot water or whatever. Like, I guess some people do that. That seems kind of counter. It seems like a waste of time to me. Like putting a tube outside to heat water just seems like you're losing a lot of that thermal energy just from the wind blowing over those tubes, right? So, in my mind, I haven't done the test yet, but in my mind, I feel like it would make more sense to just have solar panels out that you draw all that energy in and then release it when you want. Because with all that water in that tube, it's basically the radiator heats up to a point, but then it starts cooling itself off. So it's not efficient, and quite honestly, all you're doing is burning up electricity in a 12-volt pump to pump the water, right? When if you just stored all that electricity and released it when you needed to, that's more efficient than running a solar hot water heater. Like if it was gravity fed, right? And there was no pump involved, or you had, they make pumps, or you can have a design. I've seen it where there's this thing you do. I don't think that would work though. I feel like that flows way too high because you need a pretty low flow so it can actually draw the temp out of the copper tube. His instructions. Is it submergible? I don't even know. Is it? Submerged installation. Oh, it can be? Oh, that's cool. I can't fit it in the tank, but I thought it said it wasn't when I bought it. But I think if you submerge it in the water that you're running through, it actually help heat that water up too. What else did I get? Oh, and then my friend got me, I guess I need a coffee cup, right? I can't even pronounce that. What color is it? I'm curious. What color is it? It's like Father's Day stuff, I think. Oh, black. That is a big freaking cup. At least on the top it is. What is that? LED lighting. Heck yeah. I think this is one of them things that's like got a vacuum on it. It's pretty tight. I wonder if it leaks. Guess we'll find out. Ooh, I like that seal. Don't know how long that'll hold up. I do open and shut this a lot of times. Not that I need it to stay the temperature. I think it's just the size I need. Oh, you definitely have to open it to seal it. It's so water and airtight. Does it leak? If you shake it? No, it doesn't. Oh, okay. That's cool. You can see down inside it too, because some of these ones you can't see down inside them, and you don't know how much is actually in it unless you memorize how much the cup weighs. And you know when it's empty. But I think if you swish it, you can tell, right? I think if you roll the cup around a little bit, you can kind of gauge how much liquid is in the cup. Hey, it's going pretty good. I want to put a load on that, this linear actuator, and see what I need to cover that because it started welding to the table because there was nothing to insulate it. So we just put a little bit of tape. How are you doing today? How's your day going? I don't think anybody answers my questions that I ask in the morning on the sleep streams. I feel like they've avoided the last couple questions I've asked, weirdly. All right. That is super soldered. So hard. Tinned connection. Really, I need a vice grips for that. We got to clamp one end, so I only have to touch one. And I weigh less than 200 pounds, so I feel like I should be able to push down as hard as I can on it. It should kind of want to pick me up. So, what is the other color? One's blue, one's brown. One's blue, one's brown. Oh, we already went all the way shut. We gotta go the other way. Because the voltage. It's gonna be so much easier with a switch on it. Dang. actually still almost moves at the same speed. It's not long enough to go all the way to the ground, is it? So I can put like full body weight on it. It's crazy how strong it is for how little it is. Turn this sideways. Gives me some length. Safest way to stand on it. There isn't one, but if we kind of like put our whole body on it. Dude, that's crazy. I can't believe it still moves almost at the same speed. So it'll only take 25 seconds to lift this up and down. Because I have double the weight that it actually has to lift. If I went right for the weight, I was worried it might start to burn the motors up. Got me a magnet thinger. It's squishy on the bottom. So I always need these. This one. These used to be super expensive, but they're not super expensive anymore. I only had one tip left on my deburr tool and I freaking lost it. I don't even know where it went. The machine ate it. So I was deburring something. And it just like, it came out and freaking disappeared. So there's these little high-speed cutters, basically. It's a cutter with an angle on it. And you can drag this around tubing and stuff to deburr it. So you just pull down. It's got like a quick release. Right. And you just pull this and then put that in there. Then pull out. It locks in place. It swivels. And then you can just take a tube or a pipe or an edge like this on the table. And it just finally cuts that edge to deburr it, right? So if you have a tube that you cut and you got a little bit of snaggly stuff on it, you just kind of sit in there and go like this with it. And it helps to apply just a little bit of pressure to get a nice smooth cut. Some of these companies that make these, I know the one I had was, I really liked it. Those tips would last forever. It didn't do bad actually, that's pretty nice. This thing was super cheap. I like the handle because it's metal. I thought it was plastic at first. It just got a heavy coating on it. And it's simple. I don't think it likes to go that way. I think once you start in a direction, it only wants to go in one direction. It's way faster. The other one was such a fine cut. I feel like it took forever to actually deburr it. I don't know how this does. It's not the right blade for an outside. So they usually have different types, and the ones on the outside I think are bent more. If I remember correctly. Oh, that's why it favors one side, because of the way the blade is. So the blade is actually flat cut, and on the other side it's tapered. So it actually looks like that. I'm used to them being double-edged to where it doesn't matter which direction you go, it'll cut, but that's fine. I'm kind of primarily right-handed, but not really. So I was born left-handed. Is that it? I thought I put something else. Actuators. Little brackets. I was curious what the quality of these brackets were that they were going to send with this. Don't really want to use them. Kind of want to make my own. I kind of have to, I think. But they came with the pins, which means I don't have to make pins. That's cool. That saves me a lot of time. Maybe I will just use a bracket. It would make it easier. Faster. Then I can at least have this maybe even done and up this weekend. No, that cotter pin is the wrong size, sir. That is way too small. I can probably easily fit 2 of those into the same hole, which means it is 100% not the right cotter pin. No, thank you. I have better cotter pins anyway. I have stainless ones. I kept them. I think they are over there. It's not hard to find. I got like a bag of 1,000 or something of them. I don't feel confident like pushing on the pin though. With the weight. Maybe it'll hold. That's a tiny little pin to hold 200 pounds of force. I feel like that's a weak point. That's why I'm just going to put a cup on the one end. It's going to shear that pin off eventually. And if the wind would by chance grab this and yank on it, I don't feel confident that that's just not going to pop right away. Might even make that hole larger on that. We're going to put 2. Alright, I'm going to turn this off for now and see if hopefully I fixed it. I'm hoping. I'm just going to kind of turn on my music and do stuff like I normally do. Hope you have a great weekend. Do something. Take care. Bye.